new commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're all...
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers. Actually,
don't...
to put it simply, but the troupe has all... That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses. There are only a few days...
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring...
If you're interested in helping, maybe you can't fill the role yourselves.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like... Hello there! Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you.
Wow, but...
If we can't find someone to step in, all our sets, and if we had a way to make...
Disband?
Oh, one last show. Nobody wants things to just... Yeah, the show just won't...
Got it. We have a... what if...
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
Good point. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What? She's really good at performing and...
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone her!
Nope. But...
You're not wrong there. But even if she's still an idol to many people in Fontaine. Well, yeah. Fair enough. I mean, if she was... I'm sure everyone in our troupe is... Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. Besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news.
Wait, where does Farina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's, moved out, right?
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! When did you get here?
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought it is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Farina. Back in a jiffy.
I can't believe they're seriously asking Lady Farina.
Try not to worry.
I can't believe...
Try not to worry.
Think about it.
Behold!
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives... Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just,
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't an earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity! It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if...
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoo!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the Traveler said! Paimon wasn't... Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... Fine. So tell me, what specifically makes this... Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come up. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well-versed in all the various... But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must...
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to... Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character, centuries of pretending to be a different person, changes you completely. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point, okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably... Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I drew a line in the sand without thinking about every possible grain on the other side.
Well, is there anything else we can do?
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem...
It's all right, Farina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around...
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest now.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Farina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories now. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your illness.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now?
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original...
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Farina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear. So this is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list. All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all.
Farina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about this. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things. And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personally.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then but in any case, it sounds like the issue...
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worth...
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause. Everyone seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in the serial disappearances case.
What?
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to... But still, no sentence can bring our director back.
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Farina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to...
And then disasters.
Yeah, After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can, but despite our efforts, things are slowly... It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was... I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all...
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale,
Farina?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking for... I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member. But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that...
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life... Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epicles is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe. The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but... what about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action.
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine. Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Farina's... All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space.
Ad Astra ep.
May I present?
Huh? Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Lady... Miss Farina will be These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Farina on our behalf. You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying the Little Oceanid?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show...
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you the protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, but one day, her true identity was exposed.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean the director?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and the other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him.
Although, now that we have Miss Farina...
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware, but...
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of us look up to...
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But...
Yeah, maybe he could use some company.
Poisson? Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the So, allons-y. To Poisson!
Relax.
pressure's on now. We gotta make sure we're fully prepared.
You're off to Poisson to find Paolo, right? Have a safe trip. We'll take care of the troop while you're gone.
The wind rises. Squall and Fury.
The show begins!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is this...
You came all the way here for that?
all right. Forget that for now. Just come on out.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last...
Okay then. Looking...
So, as expected, he's...
The ending is one of the most important. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but...
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all the...
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now? Any better?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn? We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the time.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a but for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling.
It's okay. These things take time. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget. To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navi.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all. Like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest... I'm so grateful that Miss Nafia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, it's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I was. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying, but I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely understand. Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion. I guess I wasn't quite ready for that.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see.
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rasula's ship? We should...
Behold!
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water. One after another, people were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping on my throne. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario. Everyone rose to their responsibilities. But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was. And believe in the Farina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going, at least the choice is in my— All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the—
Sure. Okay, let's head.
Squall and Fury. Everything was futile.
Oh, brilliant!
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe— Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking. That's your job.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willing—
Oh no, looks like there are... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences in...
You're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treat. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to—
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when he imparts some solemn words— If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what—
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and she kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully. It was only after she was gone that we realized—
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness. I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, it was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice. She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so— I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a murderer." One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity.
Let me guess. Fortunately, the next person you ran into was the—
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhere I felt safe. And I promised myself—
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you.
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful
Same here.
Even so, this is just Oh, wow. Yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Ocean, she finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. Plants and flowers are withering. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness? You mean
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis. Her lover accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
there's actually something else that you know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible. What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death, both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city. We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. We looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point.
The director was the kindest soul in the world, yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense?
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role.
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief.
Grief? Guilt, more like. All because... Well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deep...
What? You...
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on... I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential... Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troop, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really And now, that day will never come.
Paula.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Vilmont. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Veal.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
The wind rises. This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
War Fury.
As if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's...
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted in—
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
Hey, lay off, all right? My bluff is hanging from a thread here. I'm sorry. I got carried away. Please help us out, would you?
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to...
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
May I present?
Check out me. Come on out. Cha. Ha.
Behold!
Gotcha.
Stabilize!
Shine down!
A bitter pill to swallow. Ta! Yeah!
Now you shall perish! There is no escape! Illusion shattered!
This is order! Solidify!
Commit it to memory.
Mind the side effects. A bitter pill to swallow.
Grow.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
The wind rises. Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Farina?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troop.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult.
Viamal, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with—
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Viamal. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it, but now I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face the Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional—
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough.
We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drink. It seemed like a win-win. So, I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, the merchant, was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was... I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there.